Hi, welcome to the video. In today's video, I'm going to do puzzle rush in chess.com. So our target is 50 puzzles. Let's see at the end of the rush, I'll be able to complete 50 or not. So I'm starting the puzzles. The first puzzle is queen c1 check, knight plays to e1, then queen into e1 checkmate. Next one, it's very simple. Rook d8 check. When black plays rook e8, we can capture the rook and do the checkmate. Now this puzzle knight f3 check. The only move for the king is to go to h1 check. Then we can play rook h2 and it's a checkmate. Yeah, this one is easy. The king has no square to escape and it has only c8 escaping square. So we can play rook h8 and do the checkmate. Fourth puzzle. Rook b1 check. Only move, like the king cannot move to anywhere. Bishop can go to c1 and we can capture the bishop. When queen go to e1, then we can capture the queen as well and checkmate. Next puzzle, queen h3 check. The king is forced to go to g8 square, or else they can also play bishop h6. If they play bishop h6, then we can simply capture the bishop and gain a bishop. If opponent decides to go to g8, you can simply play queen h7 and it's a checkmate. Next puzzle, it's queen f2 check. The king is forced to go to h1, then we can play queen f1 check, rook into f1, and then we can play rook into f1 checkmate. Next puzzle, queen d1 check. The king has no square to escape. They has to play knight f1, then we can play queen into f1. Then if they play knight g1, then we can play queen into g1 check. The king cannot capture the queen because we have a bishop support. And it's a checkmate. Next puzzle. Queen a4 check, king goes to b1, then we can play bishop e4 check. King goes to c1, then we can play queen c2 and we can do the checkmate. These are all forced moves. White is forced to play the king and we can do the checkmate. And next puzzle, that's an easy one. This is a beginner checkmate. Like we can play queen f7 and do the checkmate. We have a bishop protection, so we can easily do f7 and do the checkmate. Next one, so rook d8 check. If they capture our rook, then we can capture with our rook and king goes to g7 and queen f6 checkmate. Next puzzle, It's a back rank checkmate, another back rank checkmate. Queen f2 check, and king is forced to go to h1, and then we can play queen f1 check, rook into f1, and then rook into f1 checkmate. Next puzzle. It's kind of like a backrank checkmate, but what we can do is we can capture the rook with the queen. It's like sacrifice. If rook captures our queen, then we can play rook d1 check, queen into d1, and rook into d1, and it's a backrank checkmate. Next puzzle, another backrank checkmate. Pawn g3 check, king goes to h1 or g1, then we can play rook a1 check and rook b1, then rook into b1 checkmate. Next puzzle, queen d7 check, king is forced to go to b8, and then we can play queen into d8, knight into d8, and rook into d8 checkmate. Next one, it's simple, one more checkmate, queen h8 checkmate. And the king cannot capture the queen because of a bishop protection, and it's a checkmate. Next person. We can simply capture the bishop, but if bishop captures, we can capture the queen. We can come up with compensation of 2 pieces for a rook. But let me check, is there any other better move than that? I don't think there is any better move than that. We can go to capture the bishop with our knight. Yeah, capture the bishop. We got 2 pieces for rook compensation. Yeah, rook into e1 check. If rook captures or queen captures, then we can take the bishop and gain a piece. Next one, puzzle number 18. King goes to e2 and attacks the knight. If knight goes to anywhere, then we can simply capture the rook. Either we will be able to capture the knight or we will be able to capture the rook. Yeah, now we can simply capture the knight. If rook captures, then we can capture with the king and we can come out with a knight king. Next puzzle, puzzle number 19. It's queen h4 check, king goes to f1 or e2, then we can play queen f2 and do the checkmate. If they decided to play pawn g3, then we can play knight into g3, pawn into g3, and we can capture the rook and we will be able to gain a rook. Next puzzle, puzzle number 20. Sorry, we completed 20 puzzles and we are at puzzle number 21. Next puzzle, knight d3 check. It's a check to the king, so they are forced to capture the knight with the bishop, or they are forced to move the king to f1. If they do that, then we can play queen into f2 and do the checkmate. Next puzzle number 22. We can play queen h2, but the king can try to escape. So queen h2 check, king f7, bishop g6 check, king e7, queen into g7, rook f7, and queen into f7, checkmate. Next one, it's a simple and one more calculation puzzle. We can simply capture the rook with the queen and do the checkmate. Next one, we can play rook e1, but the king will try to escape and we don't have enough pieces to checkmate it. So what we can do is, first we can play bishop d4 check, king goes to f1, then we can play bishop c4 check. If they play bishop d3, then we can play bishop into d3 and do the checkmate. Next person, rook e1 check. The white is forced to play rook d1, then we can capture the rook. If king plays d1, then we can play rook e1 and do the checkmate. We have a knight protection. They can't capture a rook with the king. So it's a checkmate. Next puzzle number 25. You can capture the queen. If king captures, then we can play queen a7 check, king goes to anywhere, then we can capture the rook on h7. It's a simple and two more checkmate. Rook h8, rook goes to h6, then capturing the rook with your rook and checkmate. Oh, sorry, that's not the checkmate, my mistake. Anyway, next puzzle. In this puzzle, we can capture the bishop with the king. Yeah, we can stop the pawn promotion. And next one. Knight e3, idea of knight e3 is to do queen g2 checkmate. When we play knight e3, if queen captures our knight, then we can play bishop d4 and we can trap the queen. We can capture with the corner pawn so that our king will get an escaping space. Yeah. Next person. We can play rook g8. The king can go to h2. We don't have much to do after that. Anyway, black is down with a rook. Yeah, rook g8 check, king goes to h2, then we can play rook into g1. If they capture the rook with the king, then we can play queen h3 check. And idea is to knight f3 trap. Not queen, it's not a check, just queen h3. Idea is to knight f3, queen into f3 and queen into f3, gaining a queen. Yeah, next one. Rook h1 check, king goes to g4, then rook h4 checkmate. Next one. We can play king f3. but I'm not sure the what this puzzle like picks the best move. Must king f3. If they play pawn e7, then we can play pawn h2 check, king h1. Then we can play pawn g2 check, king into h2, king f2, pawn a8 queen, pawn g1 queen, check, king h3, then queen g3 checkmate. Yeah, it's a big calculation. Next one. It's knight c7 check, king is forced to go to e7, then we can play queen d6 and then it's a checkmate. Next puzzle. Puzzle number 32. Pawn g5 check, which is like fork. If king goes to anywhere, then we can capture the rook and gain the rook. Yeah, after that we can keep our king advance and do the pawn promotion. Now capture the knight. If queen captures our queen, then we can play knight e2 check and get the queen. Queen c3 check. If they decided, if opponent decided to capture the knight on c1, then we can play queen bishop a4 and trap this bishop. I'm just thinking whether to capture with the bishop or with the queen. I think better with the queen. Then they play queen b8. We can blockade with our knight. Yeah, next one. Puzzle number 34. We can simply capture the rook, but there is a better move like queen g6 check. King goes to d7. Then we can play queen f7. Bishop e7. Blocking the check. Then queen into e7 checkmate. Next puzzle. Knight f3 check. If king goes to hit f1, then we can fork by playing knight h2. Knight f3 check. If opponent decided to play king h1, then we can play queen h6, and which forces opponent to lose their knight. When we reach the end, we can win the game very easily because we have extra pawns and we'll have knight for bishop. Yeah, next one. Queen f7 check, king goes to d7, which is a forced move for black. Then we can play knight e6 check, then king c8, and that is going to be bad because the black queen will capture. So what we can do is queen f7 check, king goes to d8, knight into e6 check, king goes to c8, then we can play queen e8 checkmate. Yeah, it's a checkmate. Next one, puzzle number 37. Knight g3 check. If king cannot go to g1 square, so white is forced to capture our knight with the pawn. Then we can play queen h6 and do the checkmate. They can block it with the queen, but still we can capture the queen. Next one. Puzzle number 38. You can play rook e5 check. Opponent is forced to play bishop e7. They cannot play queen because they will lose their queen. So rook e5 check. If they play bishop e7, then we can play pawn d6. They do castle, then pawn into e7, which attacks the queen and rook. When we play rook e5, they can't capture our rook because of the pin. If knight tries to move anywhere, then it's a check to the king. So they can't move their knight to anywhere. Oh, they're planning to sacrifice their rook. You can capture, knight captures. Pawn into bishop. Yeah, it's a clear win. Okay, we can capture the queen and it's clear winning from here. Next puzzle, puzzle number 39. It's bishop f2 check. I think it's not a checkmate one. I'm not sure, but we can trap the queen, the variation which I saw just now. Bishop f2 check, king goes to f1. Rook d1 check, king goes to g2. Then we can play rook g1 check. If they play king h2, then we can play bishop g3 and get the queen. But bishop f2, king f1. When we play rook d1, I think it's a bad move because bishop f2 check, king f1. If you play rook d1, then king can run away by playing king e2. So yeah, bishop f2 check is a better move. King f1, rook d1 check, king goes to e2, then rook e1 check, king goes to d3, rook e3 check, king goes to c2 or c4. Then we can play rook c3, and which traps the queen. But we need to think bishop f2 check, king f1, rook d1 check, king g2. When we play rook g1, what if the king goes to h3? If the king goes to h3, then we can play rook g3 check, king h2, bishop g1 check, king h1, then knight f2 checkmate. Oh my god, too much calculation. Oh, they didn't even play king h3. Now we can trap it. Next one, puzzle number 40. Queen into f8, king goes to d7, queen into, rook into, and rook into. If king captures, I think we can win that game very easily because they will be having king and three minor pieces, and I will be having three minor pieces and also rook, which is very comfortable win. But let me check, is there any other better move than that? Yeah, I don't see any other better move. Bishop b5, which is very bad, the knight can capture. So the better move would be like queen f8. Yeah. Oh, I think knight into c2 is there. Maybe like you can play knight a3 and defend it. Bishop d3 would be a bad move because bishop into d3, c into d3, and knight c2 check, which attacks and captures the rook. So knight a3 is a better move. Yeah, next one. Rook into e4 is a better move. We should not capture with the bottom one because it's not like forced move for white to capture us. So if they play rook into e4, then they will move their bishop to somewhere. Rook captures queen, king captures a rook. We will be in a bad position because they have a pawn they can promote the pawn. So what we can do is rook e4. Now they are forced to capture our rook because we will capture their queen. So rook into e4, queen into e4, rook into e4 check. King moves to anywhere, then we can capture the bishop, pawn a7, rook d4 check, king moves to anywhere, then we can play rook d8 and stop the pawn promotion. Hope it's correct. Yeah, rook f4 check and rook f8 and stop the pawn promotion. Next puzzle. I think it's an easy one, like Tomo calculation one. Queen d1 check, king goes to c3 and then we can play queen d2 and checkmate. Hope I didn't miss any variation. Yeah, that's correct. Next one, puzzle 43. Our queen is under attack by the bishop, so we can capture the bishop. If they play queen d4, they can capture the bishop, then yeah, if they capture, then we can play queen g6 check, king goes to f8, then we can play rook f1. Let me think for a couple of minutes. We have 3 pieces for one bishop. We need to capture all of them. Then only white will have chance to win. Rook into e2. If they play queen f4, then we can play rook into e7. The knight cannot capture because the queen will be hanged. Yeah, it's a clear win. Rook into e6. If they play queen d4, then we can play bishop e3. No, it's a bad move. Then of course we will be forced to move to h1. I think we will be in a very comfortable or like dominating position. Oh my god, I misclicked. Anyway, next person. I have only one more chance. Pawn c3 check, king goes to e1, then queen b1 checkmate. Not checkmate. Bishop check, king into, then queen c2 check, king goes to e1. I don't think that will work. Queen check, rook goes to c1, then queen d3 check, king goes to e2, then queen e2 checkmate. Yeah, next one. It's a check to our king, so what we can do is we can block it and give reverse check to the black king. It's simple, queen e5 check. We can capture the queen, but we will be gaining a queen. But if you play queen e5, knight into e5, then rook into e8, it's directly like it's a checkmate. So it's a better move. Next person. Bishop f2 check. If they play king h1, then bishop into g2 checkmate. If they play rook into f2, then rook g2 check. King h1. I think we can comfortably pull this one. King h1, queen into f2, then queen into f7 check, king goes to d8. We just need to escape from the continuous checks. Yeah, I think we should be able to. We can. When we play rook g2, they can't capture because of the pin they are on. They are forced to go to h1 because if they play king f1, then we can do queen f2 checkmate. Anyway, we are going to play queen f2. Idea is like rook h2 checkmate is there, queen g1 checkmate is there, queen f1 checkmate is there. Opponent will try to give continuous checks. We just need to run away from the checks. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Next one. I think it's pawn g4, h into g4, pawn h3. h2 is coming, so opponent is forced to go to bishop g1. Then we can play knight f3. I'm not sure it's correct or wrong. Pawn g4, that's a bad thing I guess, because they will be able to do the pawn promotion same likely with us. So pawn g4, h into g4, then knight f3. So bishop into f6 or something, then h3. h2, h1 is unstoppable. I think that's the one, but seems like it is wrong. Maybe like pawn h3, bishop g1, then I have to go for knight into g4. Oh, then it's an easy winning. Anyway, so we can end the stream, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe the channel for like